All right, and wildfire011 is live. You take over Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Next one. Hi everyone, this is wildfire011 here. I'm joined by the lovely Deschane.
Hi everyone, glad to be back again.
Yep, so Des was commentating for RepG's Flare A NG Plus run last night. Well, it was night for me, um, probably evening for you guys. But yeah, so we're doing a different category. We're going to be doing Leone Standard on console. Um, this is probably a little bit of a more RNG heavy run, but we'll get into that as the run progresses. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Thanks and good luck as well, everyone. So we're gonna choose a new game and playing as Leon on standard difficulty. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them in chat and we'll try our best to answer them when we can. So going to skip 2 cutscenes and we're going to be starting the timer after skipping skipping the second cutscene rather. Um, so this game is usually timed by in-game time. So if you're submitting to the leaderboards, you'd use the time that shows up on the end of the screen on the title page, or the end screen page rather. Um, of course, for a marathon, that's not really that relevant. So we're going to be using live split for an RTA timer. But yeah, just to note, that won't be like the official time that I get. But yeah, so let's go into it. So that's the first cutscene. And Leon will show up any second now in the second cutscene. There we go. And we're going to start now.
All right, and so we've already got a question in chat. Is PS4 any different from PC? So the most closely related category on PC would be 60 FPS. I don't know if the PS4 actually gets 60 FPS, but the strats are very similar.
Yeah, so it depends on which version of the PS4 you're using. So on the base PS4, your frame rate will be like going for 60, but it will be unlikely to reach 60 most of the time, especially for boss fights. Um, on the PS4 Pro or the PS5, you'll get like a consistent 60 FPS, which really helps with the boss fights. And we'll get into that as we go through the run. So that first zombie, you're meant to headshot. If your movement's a little bit bigger, then he'll be in a different position to where he usually is. So I just missed the shot, but it's okay. We'll probably get a few hugs throughout the run, and yeah, we'll just deal with it.
And you know what? We'll call that a DA manipulation. So I didn't talk about this the other night, but that's something important for new game categories that we should talk about. Is something called DA, or difficulty adjustment. So the game gets more difficult the better you do. Um, Essentially, what it does is like your character does less damage the better you're doing. So the higher the rank is, the less damage you do, the more random the zombies are. Around DA7, they can start double lunging. And so in a 60 FPS slash console run, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do you're gonna take some deliberate damage to be able to lower that because you have to pick up the flamethrower. But we'll talk about that more once we get to it. As you've seen, Wild has already done something similar to what we did yesterday, stair skates, to be able to get that animation to let us go up the stairs a bit faster. And um, this section itself will be a bit different coming up right up than the one we saw yesterday. Since Leon does not have any additional movement, we usually run on fine for Leon.
Yeah, so for female characters in the RE engine, it's faster to be in caution. So if you're playing as Claire, you want to take a few bites from a specific zombie when you like enter the RPG streets. Here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pause for a bit, because the way this works is there's a zombie that's gonna come through the door, and his timing is based on RTA rather than IGT. So while we're paused, he'll be going through that timer, and then he'll just go through the door instantly. And we're just gonna run by these zombies.
Right, and so you saw that Wild went along the right there. That's because as Claire, you can go between the middle because she runs faster. but Leon is still so slow that you go to the right and you can usually get by those zombies. Sometimes on console in 60 FPS, they'll aggro and they'll just attack you. And that's unfortunate when it happens.
Also here we're going to be doing some inventory management. So I'm going to move the gun over and then discard the gas station key. So items that you've completed all the uses, they'll be able to be discarded. So they can you can free up space in your inventory by doing that. Oh, okay, that doesn't usually happen. So there's a zombie over there that you meant to avoid. So you'll be seeing me move the camera quickly, like that, for example. That's what's called a quick turn. It allows you to just optimize your movement, basically. Coming up here, there's a set of stairs. This is the first difficult piece of movement that you really have to practice a lot to get good at when you start running the game.
This is also one of the first really heavy reset points. Because that zombie, if you miss that shot, if you're standing on the stairs, the way that a zombie grab works, instead of grabbing you, they knock you to the ground and you lose, I think, 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's
so
really
usually
slow.
if you're going for a PB, that's usually just a reset.
Especially this early in the run, you don't really want to take that kind of time loss.
Yeah, exactly. This early in the run, you're about 3 minutes in. So, that's 3 minutes to reset versus, a 20-minute reset. Especially considering that this game can usually be completed in less than an hour.
Yeah, the small time losses add up, over the course of the run. So up here, we're going to have our first medallion puzzle. These are RNG, but they the solution is always the same. I'm terrible at them because I'm fairly new to running the game, so I haven't had a lot of experience with doing them. Also, quick turns can be a bit for Pega at times.
Yeah, quick turns on console and controller are a bit weird. Same with stair skating. So that's a great question, Bucky. So the first medallion is Iron Wheat Bird. The second one coming up is the Unicorn Medallion. It's Fish. What is it? Fish, Scorpion, Water.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Woman, Bow, Snake.
Yep.
But they start within either 1, 2, or 3 turns. Exactly. The RNG is how many times you have to rotate them. So they always have the same solution, but they're never going to start at a 0 change. There's always off by 1.
Oh, okay. So I tried to do a dodge on that zombie, but I moved forward a bit too quickly. That's okay. That's just another DA minute. Cover. Also, another thing about the medallion puzzles, if you're on B scenario, you get a different set of icons that you have to figure out the puzzles for. So it's different depending on which scenario you're on. But for all A puzzles, it's the same, and for all B puzzles, it's the same. So if you're on Fair A, it'll be the same as Leon A. Also, you notice that I'm ignoring certain items that we're going past that I could pick up. In some cases, I'll be picking them up later. But yeah, it's also for inventory management, and because when you pick up items, that also increases your DA. So you don't want to have too high of a DA for later in the game. It doesn't really make too much of a difference now, but it will do once we get into the second half of the game.
Definitely, and inventory management is a huge part of this game. Some runs are separated just based on how good people are at using the menu.
Yep.
And you also notice, if you watch any PC runners, the menu that Wild will use is a bit different because as controller, you can't use the mouse to flick to an item you need to use, so you have to make sure that you can get to it quickly enough.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to keep things ideally within 1 or 2 presses of the D-pad. So if we're doing NG+, we would just kill this liquor, but we have to try and dodge him on the way out. He has killed a lot of runs in the past, so
Yeah, this Liquor sure does love to kill people. You're also noticing that
I played it a bit
Wild,
safe because of
that's a safe strat. Wild looked at the Liquor, so as mentioned yesterday, Liquors get a bit shy if you look at them, and it can help you make sure that they're not gonna like aggro at you. But sometimes they just turbo anyways, even though you're trying to manip them.
the zombie you can just run past like that if it's there. Also, the placement of the zombies in the library here is also RNG, but some patterns are more common than others. So that pattern right there was fairly common.
And so right here, Wild's gonna go pick up this pouch and then go through this door. As mentioned yesterday as well, you have to open this door and then go back through. Otherwise, that bookshelf will close and fall on you, and you have to go a different route.
Oops. Yeah, as I said, I'm quite bad at the medallion puzzles, but it's just something that you get better at with more practice and time. We're also going to look up to avoid getting hit by the Liquor there, because when you look up, when you're looking away from Liquors, they do different attacks to when you're looking at them. Okay, that was good RNG with the zombies.
That ladder there gives you iframes, and so you can get down. If there's all three of them there, though, you do have to do this little safety strat where you go back up the ladder a little bit and go down to bait her into a lunge. Otherwise, they will grab you. And this looks like it should be... IGT would be a sub 10-minute secret room, which is not bad.
Yeah, with a few bites, it's a bit of time loss, but not too awful. Yeah, sub 9:30. I'll definitely take that for a marathon run. So coming up here, we're going to be heading towards our first boss fight. This game has 4 boss fights in this scenario, which is Leone. The last 3 are like within the last, I'd say, third of the run, so it's quite packed. But this is the only like boss fight that we have in like the first half and a bit of the run. What we're going to do, we're going to be using the knife. Would you like to explain like how knife damage works on
Yeah, of course. So since this is console and it's comparable to 60 FPS, the knife doesn't do as much damage. For example, you gotta circle around G1 on console in 60 FPS, otherwise he'll grab you. On 120 FPS, for some reason, the developers tied like the numbers of hits registered per slash to the FPS. And so if you register more hits, you do more damage. And so the 120 FPS knife can finish this fight in about, I think, 15 seconds. It's like 16 hits, usually. Versus console and 60 FPS, it's around 36, 40 knife slashes.
Yeah, so that was a fairly clean G1. It's really bad if you get grabbed by him, because then you have to like wait in a long animation. If you're doing Claire, then you have a second knife, so you can break out of that animation by using a sub weapon. So you just lose the knife. But for Leon, you only have that one knife, so you have to just deal with the animation. I'm also going to be doing something for safety here. We don't usually grab this hip pouch, but I want to get a few more items. So I'm going to grab this, and it will give us 2 extra slots for herbs and other sub items later in the game.
So yesterday you guys saw that after we hit this, we met Sherry. Well, Leon, he gets to meet someone different. And thankfully we get to skip this cutscene because nobody wants to see a dog get hurt. But
Yeah.
we get to meet Ada.
And that was Ada.
And that was Ada. Now
yeah,
she's gone.
Great talk with Ada, right?
Ada likes to disappear on us.
Yeah, she tends to vanish in midair.
This is Ben. Say hi.
Bye, Ben.
And Ben said.
Yeah, that's Ben's corpse right there. Yeah, people just don't want to stick around Leon for some reason. So now we've got the I think it's just called the tool, right? But we're going to use that to like open up a few areas to grab some essential items that we need.
Yep, and in this area, yesterday we got to see liquors for Claire. Here we get to see some dogs. You know, they're good dogs. They usually behave.
Des, you had to jinx it, man.
Yeah, don't worry, you got this. They'll behave. They're good dogs.
Fingers crossed.
I've never met a bad dog. So coming up, he's gonna pick up the first electronic part. It's in the basement for Leon. And now we gotta turn the power back on.
So now say hi to the doggos, everyone.
Say hi to the dogs. So this line is very particular. If you bump that wall too hard, that dog will get you. But otherwise, he's usually free. Same thing with the dogs coming up. They're a lot more forgiving on Leon, or at least these ones are.
Yeah, compared to Claire's ones, it's a bit like, especially at the end for Claire, it's a bit like monk ass.
Yeah,
You're going straight for
the bus dog is the hardest
yeah.
dog. Here's a question from chat. How practiced is this run, Wild?
So I've been running this category for like half a year now, but like on and off. So it's I'd still say I'm like semi new to it. I guess not really new, but I'm not like as experienced as a lot of other runners. But yeah, I guess. So I was thinking of doing a safety strat here. I'm just gonna go for a risky one, just for the.
You're gonna go for the risk one? Okay.
Yeah.
So the safety strat you can do here is Leon has flashbangs because you pick them up during the run. And you can just throw a flashbang to get those zombies to not bite you. So since Wild already took some damage from other zombies, he didn't do another strat that other runners will do, which is you will dodge those zombies, open the shutter, and then while waiting for the shutter to open, you'll let them bite you on the back to lower your DA, as you were saying, because all these manipulations are done to make the G3 fight go by faster.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Bucky, as well. Oh, also, I really hate. Well, I used to hate these stairs because they were very awkward. But
They're awkward because their hitbox is a bit weird.
yeah, especially at the corner. So if you're doing Claire, then there'll be an electronic part in this area, but we're just gonna go straight out after getting the large gear.
And so this next section, oh, sorry, Wild.
I was gonna say Leon's a big boy, so he the ladder can't really take him.
Yeah, Leon does like breaking things. This next section, this line, it's very hard when you first try to start doing it. So let's just wait and see what happens. Perfect.
Yeah, that's step one. See on
One,
the
get inside, dodge the zombies. Step 2, get out. And you saw Wild pause there. We call those pause buffers, and it's just so we can check. It'll stop the in-game time, and we can see where the zombie is. And something I just learned the other day was that you can actually aim right out of the pause because for PC anyways. When you right click, it will exit that menu, and you'll pull your gun out right away. So if you see that zombie there, you can actually get him. And now here's Mr. X. Say hi to Mr. X, and we're gonna run by him.
See Mr. X.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, if you set it up right, you can just phase right through him. Should I pick up the?
Pick it up for
Okay.
safety.
Okay. So I'm just gonna grab an extra flash here, just as like a safety item for later.
So flashbangs don't raise your DA all that much, and you get it back as soon as you use one of them. So Mr. X in runs, not too much of an issue. For Claire, he can show up right behind. Oh, that's weird. That guy's usually on the roof.
Yeah, he does that for me sometimes.
For Claire, he can show up right as you're exiting from the west office, and if he does that and he's right next to that door, he'll probably punch you and ruin your run. For Leon, well, let's see what happens coming out of this room. Oh, that's not good. All right, so good dodge. So the reason we were trying to shoot that liquor, and I don't know if it didn't work because he wasn't on the roof, but if you shoot that liquor, when you leave the club key room, usually that liquor's not there, and you just have to worry about Mr. X coming. Something happened and the liquor decided to stay with us. And now you saw Wild shoot his gun right there. That's a shot manipulation. So the zombies will hear that shot and go towards it as long as you shoot in a specific area. And it usually makes this area free, the library free, as long as they actually got manipulated. And it sounds like Wild should be good. Oh, this guy is a bit faster, but yeah, okay. It's not too bad.
Yeah, could be worse. It wasn't a grab at least.
Yeah, exactly. So that zombie, some of the zombies in this game they move a bit faster when they stumble. That zombie particularly. So if that had been Eleanor or the other zombie, Wild probably wouldn't have even had to back up like that. He would have been able to just run through. Because it was that bigger zombie, he had to actually dodge backwards because he moves a bit faster.
So here we've got the large gear, and we're gonna get the small gear in a bit. These are just items that we need to like do the puzzle in this area. There's a lot of puzzles in this game, as you probably noticed already, and it stays that way like throughout the whole game. So here we're going to pick up the small gear and then insert the large gear here, and then we're going to use the small gear below, and that will drop down the second electronic part that we need. Just a little cutscene there, and there we go. So if you're doing Claire, then over here it can be a bit dodgy, going out of that room. This is also looking a little bit really. Yeah, I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, that zombie can sometimes aggro real fast and grab you. It happens a bit more on 60 FPS for console runs versus 120. Now, there you go. If you do a right movement there, you can just dodge that zombie, and you don't have to worry about him.
And we're also going to be backtracking now to get down to the prison area.
That's important. Something we didn't mention is that Ben had the garage key card to be able to leave the RPD, and that's why we have to do all these puzzles.
This is looking a bit dodgy. Yeah, I guess I'll just use one here. That's fine. So I didn't quite go to plan, but it's alright. We had the extra flash, so it's not too big of a deal to just use it.
And having that extra flash is important because if you're going for PB pace, you don't have any backup strats, and you only have one flashbang. And if you use that flashbang, chances are your run's dead, because Leon has to go through the prison, and generally you want to have a flashbang for the prison.
Also, the doggos have returned, and they're gonna meme. Please don't meme too hard. Okay, thank you. And of course, so you can get hit through the door like that.
Yeah, and that is a very annoying damage to take as well, because sometimes you can be clearly through the door and the dog will actually get you as well. Like, I've been fully through a door before and that dog has hit me.
Okay, decent puzzle. I've been messing that up like a lot recently. but that puzzle is always like the same, so there's no RNG to that one. So that was Ben. And now we have the key card. And we're also gonna have some friends soon. And here's the friends.
Yep, we've got some friends here. So the reason Wild shot that zombie and then walked forward before throwing the flashbang, if you don't go to at least the halfway point, Mr. X doesn't spawn. Because I don't know if you guys saw, but Mr. X was there, right there on the left, and then he doesn't get flashbang, and then he'll just punch you. And
Yeah.
this next section is pretty much just walking, so if there's any donations, this would probably be a great place for it, right, Wild?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Two different spots. Yeah, we got 3. Got $35 for Filthy Scrub earlier. He said, for the zombies. I mean the animals. Thanks for an awesome marathon. Good luck, Wild.
Thank you.
Got $10 from a Q8 Glider, who says, hey, Runs to the Rescue. Want to say good luck to the legend Wildy. And
Thanks so much, Q8.
yeah, got $10 from Zerda, who says, they're good dogs, Brent.
Well, what exactly?
Thank you all.
Thank you for all the
Exactly
everyone.
what Death Chain said.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
All right, so a minor little optimization that might not seem like it would be actually a speed tech. You saw Wild go to the right of that armored vehicle. That makes Ada go into her running animation faster. So it saves, I don't even know how much time, it just saves a little bit. But every single minor time save adds up over the course of the run.
Exactly, yeah.
What a mess.
That was Kendo. We said hi to him, and
Yeah, that's
yeah.
kind of, you said hi to him and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Heard of the Umbrella Corporation?
People do not like to stay around for Leon.
Company secretly making viruses.
Yeah, it's just something about him, isn't it?
Have a virus.
Yep.
It turns people into indestructible monsters.
That explains the horrible things I've seen.
So we're going to be heading our way to the sewers, because of course this is an RE game, so it has an obligatory sewer sequence.
And we're gonna go say hi to an old friend
Seems fitting.
for those that have played the original game.
Yep.
Gee.
Before we do
Thanks.
that, I should also mention
Can't
that I'm
imagine
going to
real
turn
scientists being
camera
like
wobble on. There's a reason for this, which we'll get to when we meet our old friend. Do you do that on PC?
I don't. Ferretto does. So,
Okay.
Come on.
or does he turn his
Sewers
off?
are run by the city.
I don't remember.
How could they have a facility? without the
Usually you
authorities?
keep it off by default, but for console you keep it on there.
Jesus. That an earthquake?
Yeah, that's nothing ominous there.
What the hell?
See anything? There's just just the ground shaking. That's
Yeah.
never.
Just the wind, right?
Again?
And say hi to our friend,
Stuck with me to the end.
Mr.
Yep.
Alligator.
So this fight, I'm gonna call it a mini boss, even though it's just it's a what's the word?
It's an escape sequence, or like
Yeah,
running
I was
sequence.
gonna call it a rail shooter, but it's not a rail shooter.
Yeah, I mean it kind of is, yeah.
So it's rail section. That's the word I was looking for. So the way to get out of this is you just go left, right, left. However, you can still lose your run here if you move to the left slightly too fast. I've lost PV pace to this guy, and we're gonna pick up a grenade here to be able to use later on in the G2 fight.
Yeah. So as you saw, there's that pipe there, and when we started aiming, it was directly on the pipe. For some reason, if you turn camera wobble on, which is what I did, the reticle will be automatically on the pipe. But if it's off, then you have to like manually aim it on the pipe. So it's just like a minor like
Leon, up
half a
here.
second time save there.
What the hell was?
Just get up here.
And this next part, you're just waiting for Ada to walk. There's something that some runners will do just to meme around, and you can actually get past Ada when she's blocking you at that door, but it doesn't save any time.
Yeah, because you just have to wait for her here, and she's just taking her time. Oh, also another thing I haven't mentioned yet. I'm using the noir outfit for Leon because it's my favorite. But there are also other like costumes that you could use. I think there was an incentive yesterday for RepG's run,
The net is who makes the viruses.
and he was using the Elsa Walker suit, which is one of the best for Claire as well. So here I'm gonna just pause
Right.
and
Leon doesn't.
turn camera.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm turning camera wobble off, but we have to pause here anyway because the door that we're about to head to, it's not like the area behind it isn't loaded fully, or like at least the trigger isn't loaded straight away. So pausing there just helps it to load quicker.
You can run.
What were you gonna say, Des?
I was just gonna say that Leon doesn't have all that many good costumes. We have a question in chat that says, "Why not just leave camera wobble off?"
So usually I do keep it off, but I had it on specifically for the alligator. Oh wait, oops.
And also, I'm fairly certain if you change a graphics setting, you have to reset it back to what it was before.
Yeah.
But that might just be for like graphics when you're lowering them on PC to get consistent frame rate. Now, Ada section is a bit more interesting than the Sherry section because you can actually walk around and do stuff. So we're just gonna walk through and hack some things. Wild, are you gonna take the safe route for this one?
Yeah, I'll take a safe line here. So I'm
So
gonna quick turn here, and then you can go to the left around that zombie, but if you're too slow, then he'll grab you. So I'm just gonna play it safe.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You can run past that zombie, but someone told me it was dependent on how fast you get down those stairs, and if you do the stair skates wrong, he'll bite you. And so it's safer just to go around.
And then give him a little boop on the way back.
Got
And right here we hear Mr. X, and we see him there on the left. But he doesn't really bother us that much.
Yeah, if you're quick, you don't even see him, to be honest. It's only for the casual playthroughs when people start panicking because they hear the footsteps, where like it really like you'll see him, and he'll give you a bit of trouble.
The next section is everyone's favorite part of the Leon run, or at least it's definitely my favorite part, is the furnace section, which I think on console is probably like 15 seconds slower than PC, or at least. But I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think it's that much slower, but it definitely is slower. I wouldn't say 15
I don't
seconds.
think 15,
Maybe.
I don't know. Let's see what we get here. It makes so on PC it's faster because the mouse gives you a better movement than the slow movement of a controller, and so the section on PC is a bit faster. It's probably not 15 seconds. It's probably a huge exaggeration. It's probably like maybe 5 seconds. Because controller.
With my aim, it's probably going to be 15 seconds.
So as you see how slow it is to go over there, with a mouse, it kind of just flicks over, and then you get to it. Alright, so yeah, just about 5 seconds slower. That's not that bad.
I got math on console. Yeah, if only.
Visitor clearance confirmed. Your ID
I mean, technically you could, but I don't think that would be allowed.
First,
And for good reason.
return before this date.
Not gonna happen.
So now we're back to Leon. Yep. Go on, Des.
I said just that was a very good Ada section.
Yeah, usually I'm quite bad at Ada, so got a bit lucky there with not being super Vega.
So now we're in the sewers. We start out a bit different than where Claire does. We just have to walk past a couple more zombies.
So this one we can just walk by or run by. This next one we have to headshot though.
Yep, and sometimes that first zombie, I've only seen it a few times. He'll be in a different spot, but he's usually consistent.
Yeah, usually doesn't give you much trouble. If you're doing 120 FPS on PC, you would grab the knife that we just passed, but I don't need it, so I'll just be continuing as normal.
Yeah, and then we get introduced to the G adults. We're gonna shoot them and then just run by to what's left. But as Wild said, you don't grab the knife. I think in this run you use the knife only one more time for the last boss.
Yeah, that's right. I guess like if you really screw up G2 or G3, then you'd use the knife. Or also with IVs, you might want to use the knife, but that's situational. But yeah, in terms of like set strats to use the knife, it's only the last boss fight left.
I'm coming, Ada.
I'm a little bit low on ammo, but it should be okay. I might pick up some extra bullets depending on how many it takes to shoot for one zombie coming up.
I think the one after the rookie has 16 bullets, so that would be the best pickup. I don't know if it's 16
Yeah.
or if I forget. So this next section, well, first is this zombie is a bit RNG for Leon. If he's looking at you like he is here, you have to shoot him, and then you have to run past that other zombie. There'll be times where he'll be looking away, and then he won't end up looking at you, and you can just run right past him. And this zombie, we're gonna cripple.
Okay, I think I'll grab the extra bullets.
We're gonna shoot his leg off. What's gonna happen for that is he will, hopefully, he should, but he'll fall into the water, and because he doesn't have the one leg, he can't stand back up, and so he just dies.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about him at all. For Claire, because her pistol only carries like 5 bullets, so you get less ammo for her, so it's a bit harder because you have to deal with that zombie as well because you don't get to cripple him. But for Leon, we'll just play it easy like that. This zombie can also meme you a bit if you get unlucky, and he can be like close to the rookie, which is what happened in one of my runs earlier, but usually he's cooperative. Here we're going to drop down, shoot that.
Thankfully, a good RNG on that G adult. I mean, it's about the same, but sometimes he can be above ground and walking. Or not above ground, but above water. Well, that zombie didn't end up dying, but thankfully he can't get in the way.
Yeah. So we're going to do a bit more inventory manipulation here. I'm going to move this down to here so that we have the first slot and the slot below that free for the plugs coming up that we'll need.
Oh my god. This is getting worse.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, what's he gonna do?
That's good.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Apparently not. I just want to bait him to do a dodge.
so as you guys know, G adults are gonna get. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna get grabbed. So
Yeah,
G adults in this game are they're difficult enemies to get by. Also, their grab, that grab that he does, the hitbox on that can sometimes get you even though you're past the arm, which is why I thought Wild was gonna get grabbed right there.
Yeah,
And-
I don't know how I didn't get grabbed, but we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that that took so long was that Wild was standing a little bit too forward and got staggered when the G auto came up, which happens to everyone. And right here, you're going to see a bit of a variation if you had seen the run yesterday, because we have to pick up the flamethrower. And we don't get the best RNG.
Oops. That's fine.
Exactly, QA. Wild reacted perfectly to it. So sometimes you can about like 1 in every 10 times that zombie will be just a crawler and he won't stand up. And so then it's free to just go in, grab the flamethrower, and run away, and you don't have to you don't have to use a bullet. And so now we're gonna make our way back to G2.
Hey, Jalapeno. So,
oh, it's free. That's
yep,
good.
got lucky there. So usually there's one in your way, but if you get lucky, like I did just now, there won't be any G adults blocking your path. So here I'm gonna take a safe strat. I'm gonna like climb up here and let him like lunge for us, and then drop down, and that's very consistent. He'll never grab you that way.
You say that, but I've gotten grabbed because I dropped down too early.
Oh no.
If you drop down too early when he's not done doing the animation, the last tick of the part where you can get grabbed will tick, and you'll get grabbed. That's not really that much of a time loss. What top runners will do is they'll do a strat where they'll shoot the eye, and it will stun the G adult. You gotta have good aim for that, and you've also got to be like confident enough in it. And some runners are neither of those things, i.e., myself.
Me too. I've never like got that strat ever. So in terms of menuing, everything's where I want it to be. So if like things were like out of order, then it would be a lot slower to like get to the plugs that we need to select. Thanks, streaming. I'll need it for this fight because it's not difficult G2, but G2 can meme you at times. I think I'll take the Herbier as well.
G2 is the reason I don't want to try to run it on console. So the reason I'm saying that is well, first let's get through G2, and then while we're trying to get to the lab, we can talk about it.
Yeah. So we're gonna throw a grenade at a specific spot. That might have been too early.
Let's see.
That was too early. It's okay.
Jesus Christ!
So yeah, this is slower, but it's fine. We'll just deal with it.
So what we try to do though is throw that grenade in a spot right as you cross the fire hose that's on the ground, right as he pops down. And if it goes off right, it'll damage him enough that he'll go into the phase where he knocks down the wall.
It's still alive?
So at the moment we're just running away from G2. He should slash at us here. There we go. And we're just gonna use the flamethrower and then do some knife hits once he gets in his stun phase, which is now. Oops. So I'm gonna grab this ammo and we're gonna use the flamethrower again on him. And then run past him. He should be fine.
Hopefully that's enough.
Okay. Yep, that's a one cycle G2. Could have been a bit cleaner with the knife, but it's okay. I was a bit low on knife HP because I'd used it in a few other spots.
Let's hope that's the last.
Yeah.
Or, like, it was a bit like slow for G1, so that also took up some HP. But otherwise, fine.
And that fight particularly is why I don't want to run console. So on PC, you have something called a speedrunning tool, which allows you to see the enemy's health bars. And so it makes G2 a lot more consistent because you're able to see exactly when he's below 50% health so that you can hit him with the crane. I guess I just come to rely on that too much.
It's definitely a very useful tool, and like if you're running on PC, it's like one of the biggest advantages you have of a console, aside from frame rate, if you're on 120 FPS. So yeah, now we're just gonna get to the labs.
That was some good movement by Wild. If you don't do that movement properly, Ada blocks you, and then you just lose time. Yes, Rocky. The speedrunning tool is one of the ones that is a tool that's allowed because all it does is display information. It doesn't affect the game in any way. It's useful because it also has an inventory tool that allows you to look at your inventory without having to go into the inventory.
Yeah, and it shows your HP as well and your DA level as well.
Yeah, and the DA is also a very important thing because a lot, as I mentioned before, DA affects a lot of the enemy's behavior.
So coming up here, we're going to try another minute. I'm also going to grab an extra grenade. Is over here. Okay. Usually he's not there. I don't know why he was there, but that's okay.
Also going to pick up some more flamethrower ammo to be able to fight G3 with it.
That bite was actually okay, I think, because I haven't taken too many bites yet, so that's okay for DA manipulation for G3.
Yeah, I think your G3 should be a good DA level.
Yeah.
We're also going to pick up the second level wristband and the flamethrower regulator, because otherwise we would run out of fuel too quickly on G3 and then the run would just be over. And the manipulation didn't work. There we go. So some people in the community have named that zombie Curtis after a world record runner who had, I think it was a bite in one of his world record runs at that zombie.
Yeah, Curtis is the world record holder for Claire A standard on 120 FPS, and yeah, he's like, amazing at Claire. I'd say probably Claire is the most optimized category, Claire A at least.
120 is definitely the most optimized category.
So you might have noticed that I have a herb in my inventory, but I haven't used it yet. That's because while we're in caution, our movement speed is still the same as it is for fine. So I don't really want to use it yet, unless I'm going back into danger. So I'm just saving it for later, essentially. Oh, I did it again. Cool. So the codes here are always the same. So the first one is 3123, and then this one's 2067. And if you pay close attention to the symbols, you'll notice that they're the negative images of like every number that they correspond to. So like the number 0 will be like there's like a big rectangle in the middle as its negative image, and that's what it shows up as, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't learn that until like a month ago.
Okay, I was meant to put the dispenser in the first spot, but that's okay.
Manual mode engaged. Adjust amount of solution to match cartridge capacity.
This puzzle is also the same every time. So if you mess up one of the inputs, it's always embarrassing. But we've all been there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've accidentally mashed too fast at this puzzle, so I've done it enough times that I came up with a way to save it.
Hmm.
So these are IVs. They're a lot more dangerous on New Game than New Game Plus because we don't have a rocket launcher.
I'm also gonna kill the zombies here just to make this a bit safer. Otherwise, it would be a bit riskier on the way. Well, when we're going back this way. The stairs gates here are also quite technical, so this is like one of the last things that you probably like master in terms of movement. At least I did. It took me a while to like get to grips with those. We're gonna use the flash here because there's 2 zombies on these stairs and I don't really want to deal with them. On PC runs, you'll see them just headshotting the zombies, but I don't trust my aim, and my DA is kind of high, so it might not take a single shot to stun them. I'm also going to shoot there and throw a flash, and they should drop down. Because... Yeah, go on.
Sorry, what you got there is one licker that did what we wanted him to do, and one that didn't. So lickers, if they're on the roof, they get flashbanged and stunned for longer than they would if they were on the ground, which is why you saw Wild shoot that bullet at the ceiling.
I also looked up there while I was passing that licker because when you're not looking at lickers, they behave differently to when like you've got your camera on them.
Yep. Streaming to no one, this lab section is one of the most heavy late game reset points.
Yeah, it can be brutal, like really brutal.
Yeah, these lickers do not like to behave.
And if you're running knife only, then it's an RNG fiesta, so good luck to you. That's gonna be bad. Okay, I don't know how I didn't get hit there, but I'll take it. So I should have shot the ceiling a bit earlier, but I got away with it somehow. Did. He was just standing away, so I couldn't really do a lot in that situation.
Yeah, that was a weird RNG. Sometimes that Ivy will be turned with his back towards you, but closer to the ladder, and you can just take your knife out and slash him, because the knife will go through his body and hit one of his bulbs.
I was gonna do that, but then I saw the other Ivy was like really close by, so I was like, oh wait, what am I doing?
That did the trick.
Warning. You have dispersed a dangerous solution without all
So I don't have a defensive item, so this next area could be a bit sketchy because we've got 2 IVs and they're not very forgiving if you miss your shots.
Also, as you can hear, Mr. X is back.
I'm gonna hope this is free. It was not free. Okay, that's
Oh.
fine.
That's right. We get to sit and watch this amazing death animation. So here's something. You know what? We don't get to talk about that much. We can talk about continues after death. So in the speedrun, you're not allowed to reload an autosave for it to be a valid run, but you can hit continue after save or continue after death. Thankfully, this one isn't that bad of an autosave. You just have to put the chemical back in and then grab the keycard or the wristband again.
Yeah. So yeah, this one's not too bad. If you die like in the earlier part of labs, which we were just at, then that's really really bad because it sends you a long way back.
Yes, I've lost 2 minutes to lab lickers before. because if you die to lab liquors, it sends you back right after you mix the chemical before you froze it.
Without authorization. Your actions have been logged. And you may be subject to disobey measures.
Okay, let's play this a bit slow. Can I please hit this shot? Dude. I didn't think it was that close.
It's alright, we get to see the cool death animation again.
Yeah.
It's this area is definitely scary if you don't have a defensive item.
Yeah, if you're playing on Claire, if you have the spark shot, then it's a lot easier as well, because you can just spark shot the first IV, and it won't like be any trouble to you.
So I think we can do some donations while we try to get through this section.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me pull real fast. Roll down. We got a few. We'll stop. I keep scrolling and it scrolls fast. We've got $14.68 from DJatC with no comment. Maybe I got that right. And then $20 from Howdy Ava, also with no comment. Thank you for
Thanks,
the
guys.
$34.68. Thank you for the donations.
Thank you for the donations, everyone. And DJ, if you're still there, welcome on in.
And at one point we were at $669.69, but now we're at $689.69.
Alright, so hopefully the IVs give good RNG. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, we got the bulb that time. That's what I was trying to do the last time, but didn't really work out.
So, to explain some of the story, in case you've never played this game before, Leon's trying to find the G-Virus sample for Ada. He thinks Ada's an FBI agent. Leon's confused because he just doesn't realize that an FBI agent wouldn't be wearing a cocktail dress, like an incident. But, you know, he's a rookie. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, he's a bit oblivious to everything. Up here we've got another one of these puzzles. And luckily that's the same every time as well. Another thing about the A scenario versus B scenario differences, along with the medallion puzzles being different, those modulated puzzles are also different depending on which side you're on.
And so next up is everyone's favorite boss fight, G3. Another heavy reset point in the speedrun, but Wild's got this.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, we're just going to use the flamethrower and hopefully that's G3 right there. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much trouble. Okay, he's behaving a bit weird now, so he's not meant to do this, but it should be okay. I'll just do that now. There's some flame fuel that I need to grab, so I'll just do that now.
Alright, so this looks like it's going to be a 2-cycle.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I think your DA was a bit too low, and so you weren't able to get the movement manipulations.
Yeah.
So this fight, what you try to do is you try to, as you start burning him, you walk past him, he'll walk towards you, And for some reason, his AI, when he sees you there, will jump backwards. And then the second he starts walking towards you again, you walk backwards. He'll go for a jab, and then you'll move towards him again. He'll jump back again. And you just do that one more time as you're moving towards the flamer fuel.
So that's Ada again, and we're not going to be seeing her for the rest of the game, unfortunately.
Yep, Ada, as far as we know, she fell into a hole and died. As far as Leon knows, anyways.
Yeah. I'm also going to be wasting all this flamer fuel because that's going to lower my DA, which will make the last boss fight a bit easier, hopefully. She for sure died, of course.
Yep, Ada's definitely dead. This next section is terrifying on Leon. Especially if you've only got the one knife.
Yeah, because we've got a few IVs in our way, and they just behave very weirdly sometimes. But there are some minutes that we are going to try, and hopefully they should work out. And I've said that they're not going to work out because I jinxed it, but we'll see. So we're going to shoot there, and then there, and there. And hopefully they should be facing away from us. That one is good. And that one is not.
Okay,
That's
good
okay.
shot.
I really couldn't see that ball, but I just went for it.
Yeah, and that manipulation we do, it will just trigger them the same way that you do for the library one. It's a bit more consistent on 120, I've found. I run both 120 and 60 FPS categories. And it's a bit more consistent on 120.
Yeah, and then we just dodge Mr. X like we did the first time we met him. A little bit of a throwback right there.
And so coming up is Leon's final boss. Casually, this boss is kind of a pain. But Wild will make short work of him.
Hopefully. So essentially the way this works is we're gonna knife him 3 times. Well, we're gonna knife him until he staggers 3 times. And then it's just a waiting game, and we're just gonna have to dance around him. But you'll see.
And that's because this final boss is based on a timer, which shortens every time you stagger him.
So if we stick to the right side of his body, and then just skirt around him every time he lunges, he should miss us. The stagger, okay, we've got the 3rd stagger, and now it's just a dancing simulator.
This is called the Tyrant Tango, or at least I call it that. I think multiple people do as well.
So if I didn't knife him and stagger him 3 times, then this would take like 2 minutes longer than it does now. But it should be over within the next like 30 seconds or so. That was a bit close. It's okay. And you'll see me aiming at certain points so that I stop like running. Okay, that was way too close. Okay. So I play that safe. There is a tighter line that you can take that is a little bit faster, but that's Mr. X Ripperoni.
And then the time is coming up as soon as this cutscene starts. Great run, Wild.
Cool. Thanks, Des, for the commentary. It's really fun to have you, and yeah, thanks for the GGs, everyone. So yeah, I guess we'll get things going. So we allegedly killed G3, but yeah, it's not the end of of the G boss. Oh, right.
Or is a great time.
Someone out barely.
Whoa.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks Twan and Os and everyone else who was involved with the marathon. It's been a really fun experience to watch, and yeah, all the money's going to a great cause. So thanks to everyone who's donated as well. Yeah, just thanks for organizing everything, and
Yeah.
good luck to all the runners to come.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. I'm never against seeing that. This is not the first time a game has appeared twice in an event I've put on, so I like this game, so I like to see it multiple times.
Hopefully this is like a different like angle at
Ye-
seeing the game, and you saw some stuff that maybe wasn't there in the NG Plus run.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll get us moved over, and we'll see what's next.